Hi, and welcome to the Route to CISO Bite-Sized podcast. I'm your host, Chris Rides, and in these bite-sized episodes, we'll be speaking to experienced cybersecurity hiring managers. We'll be asking their advice on how you can stand out from the crowd to make the career moves you desire. If you can go back to your early career self, what's the one piece of advice you'd give yourself?
Be patient.
Mm-hmm.
Practice patience, figure out how not to feed into how not to get your impatience get the best of you. Patience is a virtue, and I encourage everybody to do the same, especially nowadays. Me not being patient with certain jobs, jumping ship quickly. If I were like a candidate right now, somebody would maybe look at my resume and say, yeah, they have short tenure here and there. Why would I hire this person, right? I am now publicizing that vulnerability to everybody here. I didn't do that in some respect because I am a risk taker, maybe yield and paid off. But there's also a capacity to that. Doesn't mean you have to be a loyalist. If something is not working out, you don't have to put up with it.
Yeah.
But you do have to be objective about the situation. And patience is very much the one thing that you need to give yourself to objectively decide whether the thing is working or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I think it comes with maturity, right? The ability to look at, is it time for me to move on? And even to take your time to make a list, not make snap decisions, right? Make a list. What are the reasons? Why am I looking to move on? What am I not getting here? What are the things I do get here that I really like? So, yeah, I absolutely, I can see where you're coming from with that. I think it is an important part and probably a good attribute to have as a CISO as well.
100%. I will say one thing I will do say, and this is maybe me, if the remote work would commission me, that would be great because I could collect a lot of paychecks off of that, of the commissions of advocating for remote. It has helped me basically also decompress in a good way, but also learn how to exercise patience.
Right.
So there is an upside to it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not in front of somebody trying to sit there and just take your time, not jump to conclusions and, I'm going to get a bit more data before I make a decision on this.
That is the one thing I would also encourage my former self to do.
So I would love for you, I'd love to know if you could go back and talk to your early career self, what would be the one piece of advice you'd give yourself?
There is this thing called cybersecurity and it's going to be big. So get ready for it and just always say yes. Always say yes to the next challenge. It's, we do a lot of internal kind of thinking and don't think so much. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like, there's been a path looking at your particular career path, right? There's been a series of times where you've had to say yes, or you haven't had to say yes, but you've chosen to say yes, right? You've said, okay, this might stretch me a bit. I'm not sure how I'm going to get to doing it, but I'm going to say yes to it anyway, because I know I'm capable of it. And it's kind of that mixture of being confident enough to say yes, even when you're not 100% feeling confident, and a level of being brave, right? I want my daughter to grow up and be brave enough to say yes and be confident enough to figure out things up once she's done that.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
So it's if you could go back and talk to early career Chris, what would the one piece of advice that you would give yourself?
I would summarize it with the 3 H's: be hungry, be humble, and stay healthy, right? So again, being in the CISO role, one of the things, there's this meme with the CISO, that the CEO's bed is this way and the CFO's bed is this way. This is how all the C-level execs sleep, and the CISO's bed has never been touched.
Right.
I don't follow that paradigm. I think there has to be a balance, right? And in some cases, I think it was Jared Beeson who says it has to be work-life. I think he called it work-life integration. But basically what he's saying is you have to find ways to, be there for your family. You have to find ways to get your job done, and you have to find ways to support the community. I would say that would be one of the key pieces of advice. Do not sacrifice your personal relationship for your career, because your career can go in many directions. Your personal relationships are always and will always be there. And then staying hungry is just always finding new ways. One of the things that I've always told my mentees is that, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You should always be bringing down the average, right? So always be in a place where you're like literally depressing the average intelligence of the room. And then, humility, I think as we learn, sometimes we have to remember that there are those that come behind us that we have to, we have to mentor, we have to coach, we have to support, we have to guide. I think those are things that I would say to myself, no matter how bad things are, always try to support someone who's behind you or someone who's trying to get to where you are.
I think that's a really powerful message to yourself and probably to a lot of other people out there as well. The triple H's, that's where you want to be. I think I look at that. I put into practice the smartest person in the room. I actually used that at home not so long ago. My daughter's the youngest. She was the youngest in the preschool that she went to, and some of the other mums were holding back their kids for another year. And my wife was like, should we be doing that? And I was like, I don't think so. I think getting her out there, she's sociable, she's good with people. I think you put her in there, and she's a swimmer, right? She's not going to sink. She's a swimmer. We're there to support her. But I think putting her in there, and she won't be the smartest person. She's not going to be the oldest person in the room. She's not going to be the wisest, right? But she's going to learn off all the other kids that are. Thanks, Chris. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for listening to the Route to CISO Bite-Size podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you keep an eye out for season 3 of the full Route to CISO podcast. And in the meantime, stay up to date by liking, commenting, and of course, subscribing to our channel. Thank you.